All right, folks, this is an exciting one because OpenAI officially announced the public launch of GPT 5.6 Soul along with Terra and Luna this Thursday. So if you're watching this video now, that's going to be tomorrow. And the big thing to understand is that GPT 5.6 is not one model. This is a 3-model family: Soul, Terra, and Luna. If you're from a crypto background, this is a very interesting reference. So each one of these variants serves a very specific purpose. We're going to talk about that in this video. We're also going to get a feel for what to expect when using GPT 5.6 because a bunch of people had early access to GPT 5.6. They played around with it and they say that it is the best model that they've used so far. Is it really, is a cliche every time they talk about this whenever a new model comes? But hey, this is Theo and he is infamously brutally honest about all of the other AI models out there. So in this video, we'll quickly brief you guys on what to expect on using GPT 5.6 so you can have fun building tomorrow. All right, let's get a bit familiar with what's going on here, what to use. So Soul, this is the flagship for hard reasoning and long horizon agent work. Terra is the balanced everyday model. And Luna is the fast, cheap one that you use when scale matters more than intelligence. So it's pretty much like the Opus, Sonnet, and Haiku version of Anthropic's. And OpenAI is basically telling us to structure our stacks by role. They know that, we don't just use one model to do everything. So use Soul as the planner or senior engineer, Terra as the main execution layer, and Luna as the background worker for cheap, repetitive jobs. Now, let's talk about what actually feels different when people start using GPT 5.6. So Theo, finally, he gets to talk about GPT 5.6 now. He says that it's a very good model, not quite as smart, or quote unquote smart as Fable, because Fable on plan mode is still really good. It's just really bad at coding because I think 99 or if not 100% of the coding task of Fable is routed to Opus 4.8, or so they say. It feels like it's Haiku, not Opus 4.8. But he says, it's incredibly capable, fixed all the problems I had with GPT 5.5. So if you are happy with using GPT 5.5 on Codex, then GPT 5.6 should exceed your expectation. And if it doesn't, let us know, all right? It says, Theo says it's incredibly determined, will run for a day without even using a /goal. That's very interesting, right? If you want the agent to persist a very long-running task, usually starting it off with /goal or even mid-run /goal by steering it should do the job. But without using /goal, that's actually pretty big. It understands sub-agents incredibly well and is good at orchestrating. It's super pleasant in use cases like OpenClaw and Hermes Agent. So that should be, I'd say, from the impression, I'd say GPT 5.6 as the main orchestrator brain for Hermes Agent should be a very good main right now. It knows iOS dev incredibly well. So in terms of UI UX, it should come very naturally for GPT 5.6. It has rough edges too, all right, so that's good to know, but far fewer than GPT 5.5 did. For many things, GPT 5.6 will become my obvious default. That's what Theo said. He also said that 5.6 Soul is world leading in computer use. It made me use it 100 times more. When we lost access to 5.6, I started to go insane without it. So if you really want full automation, hands off, no human in the loop, and just offload it all to computer use, it seems like GPT 5.6 Soul is far better than Claude managed agents. And now looking at the reasoning efforts, all right, so how do we best use GPT 5.6? So they introduced a new max, giving Soul more time to reason deeply. Also introduces Ultra mode, which goes beyond a single agent setup by using sub-agents to accelerate complex work. So based on their description, Ultra, if you want to use Ultra mode, it uses sub-agents under the hood for a lot of these complex tasks, which means some of the decomposition and parallel thinking that builders used to orchestrate manually may now be happening inside the model itself. So it's becoming more and more seamless now. If you want more sub-agent usage, go for Ultra mode. If not, go for high. max if you want to overkill it. But honestly, like high reasoning effort, even medium for a lot of these frontier models do a really good job. I think the only time you really want to go for max reasoning effort is on the first prompt when you're planning it. At least that's the observation that we've made using Fable 5. It doesn't make sense to use Fable 5x high or max every after the first prompt for every subsequent task on every token it thinks to make the code. So really, reserve the highest ones. We'll use the same approach for Fable 5. Use the max for planning. Maybe if there's a lot of components in one prompt for you to complete the task, then go for Ultra to leverage the sub-agents to build out your task. Skirano here has also been testing GPT 5.6 for months, and without exaggeration, best model he's ever used, fast, smart, genuinely creative. And they finally fixed the front end design, so which makes sense because GPT Image 2, even if you ask for UI redesigns inside ChatGPT, not Codex or GPT Image 2, it actually does a very good job of reimagining what your front end looks like. So it's very possible that GPT 5.6 might be our new main. That is only if Fable 5 will be completely removed from our paid plans. Because it's kind of sus, right? They decided to extend the deadline to this Sunday, on the same day that OpenAI will be announcing that they dropped GPT 5.6 this Thursday. So Dario probably saw that and be like, yo, there's no way we want people to move away from Claude Code and to Codex, so let's extend it. And I think depending on how hot GPT 5.6 is, if this truly is the god tier model, then I also have a feeling that Fable 5 will be continued to be as part of the paid plan usages. There's no way, right? They just cannot afford to remove it, especially if GPT 5.6 is going to be god tier level. Now, the second thing you guys should consider is the economics here, because GPT 5.6 is not only about performance, it is also about giving us cleaner ways to separate expensive thinking from cheap execution. So the Soul is $5 input, $30 output per million token, I assume. Yep, price per 1 million token. Terra is half of that. Luna is even cheaper, $1 input, $6 output. So I feel like a lot of us would be redesigning our pipelines instead of just replacing GPT 5.5 or another flagship with Soul everywhere. So I'd say, in other words, the smartest way to use GPT 5.6, maybe something like this, right? Like Luna handles intake and routing, and then Terra handles most of the code execution, the real work, and then Soul gets called just like Fable 5 when, it's the plan mode for the first prompt, or, when the coding itself, the task is very ambiguous, long horizon, or genuinely important, but I'd say set that to ultra reasoning mode to have sub-agents to fix. But you should also be a little bit familiar with what your code the functions of your code are, what they look like, be a little bit familiar with that. So guide GPT 5.6 Soul to help you achieve that, right? So specify your user story, your user intention, not just the user requirement. So that's a very useful lesson that we've learned having used Fable 5. Now, the third and last thing I want you guys to consider is prepare for the friction, because they have implemented stronger cyber capabilities with stronger safeguards. So it's the same as Fable 5 as well. Will it be actually using GPT 5.6 Soul? Will this be like Fable 5? Like, are all of the coding routed to Terra? So as it stands, OpenAI has said that GPT 5.6, all three of the models come with a heavier safety and monitoring story than older releases, especially around cyber and biological risk areas. So very similar to Fable 5. So here they describe more layered safeguards, including output classification and additional controls for higher risk content. So you guys should expect some workflows to feel a little bit more restricted or slower in sensitive domains, specifically for these anything that's cybersecurity related or biology related. So you might not be able to see that, but maybe if you had used GPT 5, if you will have used GPT 5.6 Soul to do the coding for those domains, they might be routed not even to Terra and Luna, maybe to GPT 5.5. So prepare for that one. Anything your agent touch regarding security testing, exploit analysis, malware research, or anything that can look dual use, you should assume more guardrails. And for defensive work, prompt clarity is going to matter a lot, and teams will probably need cleaner separation between benign debugging agents and anything that could be interpreted as offensive security work. But based on the reactions from the early testers, their story sounds really strong, right? So I think we can expect it to be capable, fast, stubborn in a good way, and especially strong at computer use and front-end execution, which lines up with how OpenAI is positioning the model family for real-world tasks. So the bottom line, I'd say, is expect GPT 5.6 to be better than GPT 5.5, but be cautious maybe with some of the task that you give it if it's really crossing into the domains of cybersecurity, or I think just coding work in general. If the output turns out to be not good, I'd say expect the GPT 5.6 Soul to offload those coding tasks to GPT 5.5. They might sorry, they didn't imply that it will be routed to Terra. Nothing here says they'll be routing it to Terra. So I assume worst case scenario, GPT 5.5 rerouting. So if you find this video helpful, smash up the like button. And before you go, check out our website, learn.superbash.ai. You have everything you need to know about learning how to use AI, AI agents, AI models, AI projects. This is an expanding knowledge base that we have created over the past few months, and now we've formed it into a website so you guys can learn and level up really quickly. So subscribe to the channel as well if you want to follow for more updates, guides, and news. My name is Ron. Shana now.